Hey guys, so this is the last kind of law that we're going to do with trigonometry, and it is called the cosine law. So it's basically, you're going to use it when the primary trig ratios don't work and the sine law doesn't work. And I'm going to show you the formula and the two different cases that we have when we're going to use this law. So case number one, which is we're going to start with right here, is when you know two sides and the angle in between. So if you know side A and B and also angle C. So you know the two sides and the angle that is right in between, then you're going to use the cosine law. Now the formula would look like this. C squared equals A squared plus B squared, so those two sides, minus 2 times A times B cos of angle C. Now the one thing I want you to notice when you do this formula is that the angle that you're given is across from the side that you're trying to find. So this C would be this side right here. Okay? And then you just plug in the numbers and you'll go for it, which you'll see in the examples. The second case that you're going to have, case number two, really super easy to spot is you know all three sides. So if you know A, B, and C, all the sides, but you don't know any of the angles, you're going to be able to find the angle. Now the formula for this is, it's kind of the same as above, it's just been rearranged, but I'll write it out for you. So let's say we're trying to find angle C here, which would be big C. Your formula is going to look like this. The cos of angle C is equal to C squared minus the other two sides squared divided by negative 2A times B. Now again, notice in this one, it's very important that you put the letters in the correct spot. And in this case, if this is the angle you're trying to find, make sure you use the side, that side that is across from it is the one that you put first, okay? That way all your subtraction works out properly. Now, I'm going to show you how it works with an example. So here's our example. We're going to find the length of the unknown side in the following triangle. Now, the first thing to notice is like whether or not you're going to use primary trig ratio, sine law, or cosine law. I mean, obviously in this lesson we're going to use the cosine law, but I'm going to tell you why. Why are we going to use it? If you notice, we have this side here and this side here, and then we have the angle in between. So we actually have two sides and the angle in between, which follows under case number one from above. So we're going to use the cosine law to do this one. Now the angle we're trying to find is B here. So we're going to set the formula up first, and we're going to make sure that we set it up correctly. In other words, we're going to make sure that our letters all line up where they're supposed to be. So I'm going to label the other sides. This one is across from A, so it's A, and this one's across from C, so it's side C. So let's do the formula. B is the one we're looking for, so that's the one we're going to start with. B squared equals. Now it doesn't matter what order these ones go in. So I'll just do A first. A squared plus C squared minus 2A times C, and then the cos of angle B. So there we have it set up correctly because this is the one we're looking for, and this is the angle that we have. So then once you've done that, you're going to plug in the values, and then we'll solve it. Okay, so let's go for it. B squared equals, A is 10, so 10 squared. C is 7. So 7 squared minus 2 times 10 times 7. And then cos of angle B, and B is 55 degrees. Now the one mistake that people make with this is that they don't follow BEDMAS. So I want to make sure that you follow BEDMAS. This whole thing gets multiplied. So when you go to do it, make sure you multiply everything there. Okay, so 10 squared is 100 plus 7 squared, which is 49. And then minus 2 times 10 times 7 times the cos of 55. So when I multiply all of that together, I get 80.3. So once you have that multiplied and you've done your exponents, then we can add and subtract. So 100 plus 49 minus 80.3 is 148. Oh, that's not right. Let me fix that. 100 plus 49 minus 80.3. 68.7. And then it starts to look like our Pythagorean theorem. Because b is still squared, we're going to take the square root. Okay, so we're going to take the square root of this. I should get rid of that because it's actually b. So b is the square root of it. And when I take the square root, I get that b is equal to 8.3. So then we know that this is the length of our side B. Okay? On the other side of the page, we have another example. The last example I showed you how to find a side. This one, we're going to find the measure of the unknown angle in the triangle. Now, notice in this one, we have all 3 sides. And so because we have all 3 sides, I know right away that I'm going to use the cosine law. So, but because we're finding an angle, we're going to set up the formula to find an angle. The angle we're finding is A. So I'm going to set it up with cos A. Now remember, the side across from it has to come first. So this A has to come first. Minus B squared minus C squared divided by negative 2 times B times C. So then you're going to just plug the numbers in. A is 3.3 squared minus B. So cross from B is 2.7 squared minus C. C is 3.8. And the whole thing is divided by minus 2 times B, 2.7 times C, 3.8. Now, because we're dividing, we're going to calculate all of the top first, calculate all the bottom, and then we'll do the division. So, when we do 3.3 squared minus 2.7 squared minus 3.8 squared, you get minus 10.84. On the bottom, when I multiply that, 2 times 2.7 times 3.8, I get minus 20.52. And we're still cos of A. Should write that all the way down. So now we'll just divide. So minus 10.48 divided by negative 20.52. I get 0.5282,651. And then again, because we're looking for the angle, I'm going to take the cos, the inverse cos of that to find the angle, and I got 58 degrees. Okay? So key thing, make sure you set the formula up correctly with the letters in the right spot so that you are able to put the numbers in the correct spot, because otherwise it's not going to work out properly. And 2, make sure you follow your order of operations. This is probably the lesson of this unit where people make the most mistakes because they're not following order of operations. So make sure you brackets, exponents, then multiplication, division, and then addition and subtraction. And as long as you follow that, you should be good. All right, have fun with the practice.